Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to start us with an invocation. And those of you that are Acutonics practitioners and that have planetary forks, the forks I have out are the Moon, Sun, Venus, and Uranus. So if you want to get your highs out for the invocation, feel free. If you don't have Acutonics forks, just listen and breathe and enjoy the invocation. My microphone is not sensitive enough to pick up these beautiful frequencies, but the intention is powerful enough that I believe you will experience them. Beloved ones, we gather in this moment as a living harmonic field, hearts open, bodies listening, souls remembering. On this World Sound Healing Day, we honor vibration as medicine and resonance as prayer. May every tone we sound become a bridge between the personal and the planetary, between the pulse of our own nervous system and the heartbeat of the earth. Today, under the Valentine frequency of love, devotion, and connection, we call in the archetypes of Venus: beauty, harmony, receptivity, and sacred relationship. We invite the sun, the great life force, to illuminate what is ready to be restored. May the moon guide us deeper into the emotional truth and the inner listening, revealing what we are ready to soften, release, forgive, and reharmonize. And may we attune to the higher octave of love. Not love as performance, not love as grasping, but love as coherence, love as truth, love as frequency. May today's tuning awaken the intelligence of the heart, regulate the waters of the body, clear the mind, and strengthen the signal of the soul. We dedicate the session to the healing of our collective field, the calming of the chaos, the stabilizing of the nervous system of humanity, and generating a wave of resonance that supports peace, compassion, and clarity. May our tones become blessings. May our presence become medicine, and may our coherence ripple outward through time, space, and spirit. And so it is. So we're going to focus on, and I'll introduce myself. I'm Caren Truske. I know you two, but we may have some other people on the recording that don't know me yet. But I love these tune-alongs. I love tuning in community. I'm going to be using a combination of Acutonics planetary forks. I'm going to use Ohm unison, and I've got two ways of thinking about Ohm unison. One is 2 low Earth star ohms. So unison is 2 of the same, right? So when we have 2 of the same, it amplifies that frequency, but it grounds. It's the lower octave, and it's really, really, really grounding, but it gives us a foundation upon which to build. And then the other unison I use is 2 mid ohms. And so we'll be, if you have those, great. If you don't, use what you have. And I may even bring some solfeggio in, depending upon what we're doing. So with that, I'm going to start with Ohm octave. And so I have a low Earth star Ohm and I have a mid Ohm. We're going to activate, and I just lean it against the palm of my hand and bounce gently, bounce and listen. And I breathe, and my intention is for 2 tones to become one, and I want to ride that wave. Notice where it goes in my body, if there's any places of tension or stress in my mental, physical, emotional, spiritual body. And on the next activation, we're going to place it at Ren 17, heart center. And we're going to breathe in through our heart. So World Sound Healing Day. You know, I was thinking this morning when I got up, well, yes, indeed, I think we have this powerful healing modality with tuning forks. I think tuning forks are a transformational technology. And so that's how I use them and see them. So I love working with sacred geometry and different patterns. And we'll be working with a lot of triangles today. Our first triangle is going to be between Ren 17 and the lung 1. So if you kind of hunch your shoulders, you get these little creases in here, and on kind of the upper part of your pec is lung 1. You decide which fork you want to place there. So I'm going to start here at my heart center. And then I'm going to reactivate, and I'm going to take one fork to that lung 1, right side or left side. I'm going to reactivate, and I'll take it to the other side. And then I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take the octave, and I'm going to go in that pattern. So I'm going to bring both forks to each point. So I actually have that triangle with both forks. And you may notice that some places when you get the octave there, they might be a little ouchy, they might be a little congested. If that's the case, just reactivate a couple times till you get some things moving. I love working with sound because it's a compression wave and it just gently moves and disperses. And the ohm octave is very gentle. And then I'm going to come across to the other side. And I like to move my head and my neck. We notice that everything's connected, and even though I'm opening up my chest and connecting my heart and my lungs, I'm also noticing that it's affecting my neck and yeah, it feels good. My neck and my shoulders. So what do you notice? Do you feel more open? Yeah, excellent. I notice a lot of us sit a lot, and when we sit a lot, we tend to get rounded shoulders. So I like to use these points a lot to open us up again. But the other thing is often unprocessed grief will get stored in these areas. We have parts of our body that's like lint traps. So when we work with this area and we start to move things, if it feels overwhelming, come back to the heart. You can also take two forks, and I've got my low ohm, and put them at lung 1, and then meet at the heart. So we're starting a little differently. We're starting at that base of that triangle. And then we're coming to that heart center. So we're using the exact same points, but we're doing 3 different combinations. What do you notice? Was it different? The next one I want to do, I want to come back to the heart center. Oh, I'm sorry.
I like it better, the last one, where you put each per one here and then meet together on this one. I like this one better.
Why did you like it better? What was different for you?
I don't know, it's just more powerful when it's done like that. I feel it.
Yeah. The only reason I often start the other way, Sophia, is sometimes it can be overwhelming if we get this moving and it's a lot of gunk, it's a lot of grief. We get it moving too fast. So that's often why I start at the heart, plus today's Valentine's Day. But they're both powerful, aren't they? And it's really lovely that you can feel the difference. That's what it's all about, noticing the difference. Now we're going to go, get my camera squared away. Now we're going to go from heart center. I'm using my octave again. We're going to make a downward, this triangle is an upward pointing triangle, but we're going to go from heart center to our hands. If you can hold both together, that's why I love these long stems, and we're going to put it right at pericardium 8. So if you take your middle finger and put it down into the palm, it's where that middle finger meets the palm. If you can't do this, that's fine. Do what you can do, just use one fork. And then we're going to activate and go to the other palm, pericardium 8. So we're balancing that giving and receiving through the heart center. We're moving out into the world and giving and receiving with an open heart. How does that feel? Good? Yeah. So next one we're going to do Buddha's triangle, and I'm going to invite you to decide what fork you might like. I think I'm going to stick with my ohms, but you may want to work with the ones I picked out today. Moon, the astrology for today, the moon is really active, and it's interacting with Jupiter today, it's interacting with Hygeia, Ceres, and Uranus. So the moon was the real predominant one. We know we've got some other more powerful energies coming, but this is kind of a nice little integration day. That's why I'm going to stick with the Om octave for me. But you decide, since you have other choices, which one feels good for you. I often wear a bracelet because the bracelet kind of helps me remember where I am with my markers. So the Buddhist triangle, I'm going to take the bracelet off. The Buddhist triangle is literally, if I put two fingers here and my thumb there, that's going to be Buddhist triangle. So I'm at the base of my thumb, and there's going to be a little indentation, not on the outside, but this little indentation. And then I'm going to come to the pinky side, and I'm not on the outside, but I'm on the inside, straight down from the pinky, be another indentation. So I've got this thumb side, pinky side, and then I go to the pericardium right, smack dab in the middle. So where would you like to start? Would you like to start on the thumb side? Is going to work with a lung piece. Let's start with that one. Let's continue with that one.
9 is that?
I knew you were going to ask me, and I didn't double check my numbers. Lung 9. Thank you.
I think so.
Yeah. And then heart. I know heart 8. I got lung 9, heart 8.
Right?
And I love Buddha's triangle, especially when there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot of energy and reaction and anxiety and maybe even fear. These 3 points, this Buddha triangle, helps me be the calm within the storm.
Can I see? I don't see. Okay. Hold on.
Heart 8?
I think it's 7. Hold
7.
on.
Heart 7. I think you're right. Yeah.
No, heart 7, pericardium 6, and lung 9.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.
7. Thank you. Thank you, Sophia.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. I checked all my other points but this one.
7.
And you know, when I don't have I usually have my tuning forks all the time, but if ever I don't have them, I literally just bring my fingers and do that. And I can still find that energy really shift. So the more you tune yourself, the easier it is.
Nine, 10, 9, 7, 6.
Now we're going to do the other arm when you're ready.
I don't understand the lung 7. Is it on the bone or in a soft space? How do I
Soft,
find it?
soft space, yeah.
Mm.
Soft space. It should, if you bring your thumb if you slide I find a lot of the forks will find it. Like if I just slide it kind of falls into a little indentation. I've learned to trust the forks. When I'm not sure, I just say, find lung 7, and it slides right into it.
Mm-hmm. That's a very powerful triangle.
Isn't it lovely? Yeah. Yeah.
Heart, lungs, and mind.
It's very powerful.
I'm
I'm going to have us flip over to the apex of that triangle is called the inner gate. If we go to the back of our arm, so here's the inner gate on the inside. If I come where my bracelet's about 3 fingers up into the middle on the back side of my arm, that's the outer gate. It's a triple warmer point. So I'm going to invite us to use whichever tuning fork you choose. If you want to work with an octave, because this is another fire energy, a heart point. If I'm using solfeggio, I would use my green, my fa, which is my heart-centered fork.
This is not Earth Day.
This one is solfeggio. It's a different frequency. Yeah. It's
If we don't have it, what do we use?
yeah, I use Om. I use Om for everything.
Mhm.
And one thing we haven't done much of with our tuning, we can actually take a high frequency fork, and I'm going to take Venus, and we can activate it, and I call it sprinkling. We can just sprinkle in the field above those points. So my inner gate, I'm going to sprinkle my outer gate. You may want to do a little, you decide what your body likes. Again, I'm going to sprinkle my inner gate. And I'm going to sprinkle my outer gate. I call it sprinkle. I know there's a more technical term. How did that feel? I think I saw somebody use the heads of the forks and to invert it and do that. That too is wonderful. So there's a lot of ways of doing it, but now we're working in the field. So we've been on the body on potent points. Now we're actually still on a potent point, but we're in the field. And so in this layer, we're moving into the etheric layer of our energy body.
Okay, this one, I don't have it. I can use regular Venus mid, but after that, you're using Mercury or which one?
No, I just have Om. I just grabbed Om.
Om, it looks different.
Because I don't have my colors today. They're colorless.
Large Om.
Yeah.
Black.
So I want to go to our lower body now. And I'm going to grab my octave again. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my low Earth Star Om unison. I'm going to grab 2 of the same. So if you have forks that are 2 of the same, that would be great. If you don't use your octave, that would be fine too. I'm going to activate, and we're going to place this called Ming Man. And it's right above your bones right here in that little soft spot, right at the bottom of your dip. So we're going to go Ming Man. And that's do 4.
Yeah, do 4.
And then from Ming Man, the reason I wanted to use both forks is from Ming Man, my triangle is going to go from here to bladder 40, right behind my knees.
Okay.
My next triangle is going to go from Ming Man, and then I'm going to go to that bladder 57. So if I bring my, where the calf muscle is, where my calf muscle splits into 2, and I wore black today, I'm sorry, it's not as easy to see, but I'm going to go from Ming Man to the bottom of my calf muscle, right where it splits into 2 heads. If it's hard to do it both at the same time, and you want to do one at a time, I'll often put my, foot on a chair or something. And you can put both forks, your unison, because they're grounding. We're grounding in these energies. We're really finding ourselves rooted and grounded today. And then from that bladder 57, that gastrocnemius muscle, I'm going to go right behind my ankle bone. So I'm going to go kidney 6 on the inside, and this is bladder 60 on the outside. So I'm on either side of my Achilles, right behind my ankle bone. Again, I got black, black, and black, so it's super hard to see. I apologize.
Bladder 60?
Yes. Bladder 60 on the outside and kid 6 on the inside. So this triangle came from the bottom of our calf muscle into the inside-outside of our ankle bone. The other triangles came from Ming Man in the small of our back, behind our knees. Ming Man, small of our back, to bladder 57 at the base of our calf. A lot of my students like the low Earth star. I use the mid ohm a lot, and they like the low Earth star, and they like it in unison because it really helps them feel grounded and rooted. But everybody's different. I know when I first started tuning myself, the low frequencies felt better to me, but now I can navigate the higher frequencies. I definitely don't have 2 of every tuning fork, but I do have 2 of the ohms, 2 mid ohms and 2 low Earth star ohms, because I use them all the time. They're my go-tos. And then let's grab our octave, our ohm octave, and let's go to kidney 1, the bottom of our foot. Let's finish our grounding. So right in the ball of your foot, the bottom of your foot, the ball of your foot area. And whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, so we're going to do the other side as well. Right foot, left foot. I think a big part of every tuning session, but especially today being World Sound Healing Day, we want a sense of harmony and balance. And so what I want to do now is I want to go back to I'm going to go to, not kid 1, but I want to go to liver 3. And so I'm going to put my low ohm on liver 3, and I'm going to put my mid ohm on large intestine. Is this 4? Do I have the right numbers? So I'm doing my, I'm creating an infinity because I'm using the opposites. So I'm using my left foot and my right hand, and these are my 4 gates. So I'm just inviting the balance and the harmony within my body to calibrate. And then I'm going to do the other direction. So we're doing this mostly with ohm today. And I find ohm octave incredibly just grounding, balancing, harmonizing. It's my go-to. What I'm feeling for is, does my left-right combination dissipate at the same rate as my left-right-left? And I'm finding there's a difference, so I reactivated. I'm looking for harmony and balance within my own body system. In order for there to be harmony and balance in the outer world, we have to have it in our inner world. So it always starts with us. How's everybody doing? Just checking in. Yeah, good. Beautiful. When people ask me if I have a favorite, I don't know that I have a favorite, but I have go-to practices and patterns that I do regularly, and one of those is the three treasure. I wanted us to do the three treasure day. What I find, especially when you know your center, you can come back to it more easily. So many people don't know their center, and therefore they get knocked off center and they have trouble finding their way home. But when we know our center, which the three treasures helps us recognize our center, but it also helps us open our gifts. And so I find every time I move around that spiral of life, there's a new gift ready to be opened because I now have the tools and resources to navigate at a higher level of experience and expression. So we're going to go 4 fingers below our belly button, do 6 as our lower dantian. And this is your divine template. You know, on those days when you forget who you are and what you're here for, this is that place that remembers, that reactivates, that calls you back to your template of perfection. I know who I am.
This is run 4 or run 6?
6.
Run 6?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. Ren 4. I'm backwards. Ren 4. Yeah. Ren 4. I'm flipping numbers. I focus on breathing through these areas. And so when I breathe through this area, it invites me to breathe into my pelvic bowl. You know, how often do we breathe through our pelvic bowl? But by breathing into my pelvic bowl, then I can also breathe up and down my legs and draw energy up from the earth and move energy back into the earth. And that's a really powerful and potent exercise. From here, we're going to reactivate and then split the forks. So now I've got 1 fork on my lower dantian and 1 fork on my middle dantian. My middle dantian being Ren 17, heart center. I like to split the forks and do this to get this line of energy, remembering that we have our Jing, our essence, but we have to have our humility and our humanity to navigate life. And now when I breathe all the way up through my legs, up to my heart center, and back down all the way out through that kidney, 1 point back into earth. So I'm creating an exchange of energy with Mother Earth. And I'm using my breath and my tuning forks. I'm allowing those energies to reverberate all the way up and all the way down. You know, Om is our home tone. It's the frequency of the earth going around the sun. That's why I love it so much. Our next activation will come to Ren 17. Come home to our heart, to our chi, our humility, our humanity, the heart wisdom. And notice what's different this time. And then when you're ready, we'll split our forks again and we'll take 1 to that third eye. Connecting our head and our heart, having eyes to see, seeing beyond appearances to the heart of all matter. And then when you're ready, we'll join them. Bring them both to that third eye, that yin tang, that place between your eyebrows. From here, we're going to split our forks. We'll keep 1 in the front and 1 in the back, what's called Wind Mansion. So if you slide your fingers up from your neck bone, you're going to slide into a divot. That divot is going to be your Wind Mansion. So we're going to draw a line of energy from that Wind Mansion to that Yin Tang. And then we're going to meet at the top of our head at Do 20. So that's our new triangle. Again, we had Wind Mansion, that divot in the back of your head where your head sits on your Your skull sits on your spinal bones. And then we meet up here at do 20. As above, so below. How's everybody doing? You good? Yeah. So now we're going to take our forks and we're going to go 2 fingers. Find your hairline, go about 1.5 fingers. So figure out your 1.5 fingers. And that's going to be the point we're going to work with. It's going to be do 24. 1.5 to 2 fingers. We're going to harmonize our right and left hemispheres. You know, sometimes when we see the world through one hemisphere, we either see the forest or the trees, but we don't see both. And we want to see both the forest and the trees. We want the big picture and the details. So we're balancing right and left hemisphere. And on your next activation, we're going to slide our forks around our face and we're going to meet at Ren 24, right in the divot of our, not quite our chin, but between our mouth and our chin. I'm going to have you do that one more time. And then when you're ready, grab your sun and the moon, and we'll do it with the sun and moon and notice the difference. Now, as we talk about gifts, the gifts of the different tuning forks, gifts of the different frequencies. My son doesn't have a color. But we're going to think of the sun and the moon as the feminine and the masculine. So my sun is going to go on the right side of my face. The moon is going to go on the left side of my face. So when I activate, we're going to do the same thing we just did, but I've got the moon on the left side, the sun on the right side. So we're drawing upon the gifts of each hemisphere. We're honoring the gifts of each hemisphere. And then when you're ready, we'll slide them to meet. And notice what's different. How does that compare to Om octave? Or Om unison, I mean.
And then 1, and then 24.
What do you notice? How did that compare?
Very powerful. So same thing, left on the, and here it's supposed to be left on the moon, right on the sun, right? Right. I feel like this point is too much for me. How do I disperse it?
Great question. Anytime it's too much up here, we want to bring it down. The first place we'll bring it is we'll get our octave and we'll come into heart center. That's the first place. And then kind of we'll do the reverse of our 3 treasures. We'll bring, I just drop back down here to my lower dantian. I'm going to bring both forks to lower dantian, and then I'm going to bring one to the back. So I'm front and back. So I'm tailbone. I'm not a Ming man. I'm down at my tailbone. And I may stay there for a few activations. How does that feel so far, Sophia?
Better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's so interesting? The other thing I would do is I would keep one fork at your do 6, and I'd bring the other fork to stomach 36. So now we're making a little bit of a triangle with do 4 and stomach 36.
Just one of each on stomach 36, both legs?
You know, yeah, you know what? I was keeping one at this dew point. I was
Oh,
anchoring,
let's see.
yeah, I was anchoring at that dew point.
So,
If you want to bring them both to that, feel free. You know, if your body wants them both.
then,
This point that we're working with is where the bladder meridian meets the stomach meridian, and if it's too much, then again we want to bring that energy down. But when you said that to me, I got the hit that we needed to bring it down through the stomach.
sorry, stomach 36 and run 4 or run 6? I couldn't see.
Yeah, I keep reversing it. I meant Ren's 4 and I kept saying 6.
Run 4? Okay.
Yes. And I think it's super important that we recognize that more is not better, less is better. So I love that you were able to say that was too much. What can I do? And we were able to call that energy down and recognize some ways of doing that.
4, 6. Mm-hmm. 17. And then 4. Then stomach 36 and run 4. It's calibrating.
Yeah, yeah.
Some points I should just do over vibrationally and not touch because they're too strong for me, especially the yin thing and this one. This one was too strong.
Too much.
Mm.
Yeah. Great awareness. And some people can't, you're absolutely right. Some people you really need that firm pressure. Other people, they can't, one or none, or even you're not even touching, you're hovering. Yeah, so those are really good awarenesses. I wanted to do something with listening palace. Sophia, you decide if it's appropriate or if it's going to be too much. I was going to have us start at yin tang and then come to listening palace. So you decide what's good for your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, when I think of World Sound Healing Day, I think of having eyes to see and ears to hear. And what does that mean? What are we seeing and what are we hearing? Well, there's a place of discernment that we're all being called into, I believe.
And then this one is SI 19.
19, listening palace, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to turn our triangle into a diamond by bringing it to our heart center. Because when we have ears that hear and eyes that see, we see beyond appearances. We hear beyond the words. We can hear the words beneath the words. And when we have the ability to hear the words beneath the words, sometimes we have a different experience, a different narrative, a different truth. You could even go from this heart center to listening palace if the yin tang is too much. And when I get around my ears, I always want to go around my ears for some reason. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I start to move around my ears. And then I end up, you know, back here at these bladder points, at the gallbladder points. I do a lot of moving of my head. I love to take 2 forks and slide one, maybe slide them both. I love to grab these big muscles and really relax my neck. Again, these are long stemmed, and what a world of difference it makes when you have long stem forks. And then the last one I wanted to do today, actually we'll do 2 more, is if you take your hands cross your arms and take your hands to your shoulder and slide down, at the base of that deltoid muscle, kind of in the middle there, there's feel a little, how you have a ridge and then drops. We're going to put our forks right there. That is, let's see where I made my note. Maybe I can find it, maybe I can't.
And three. This is for a relationship with your ancestors and generational issues, right? I read.
Well, you know what, this one, yeah, this one is also, so a different frame of reference is, we talked about kinesiology. I've did brain gym for years, and in brain gym world, these are vision gyms. And what we do is we nod our head and make infinities with our nose. So these points actually help with the turning of your head. It's a large intestine point. So it's a letting go point, it's a turning of your head. And then, as you mentioned, there's a subtle change to the one that's multi-generational, but yeah, it's an interesting point. And I love, again, being able to use two of the same forks on either side because it really gets them to balance. And I find that when I'm balanced, right, left, front, back, top, bottom, that I show up in the world more balanced and I create balance in the world. And let's finish by going back to kid one. Let's bring it all the way down to the feet. I may actually even finish on the bottom of my foot, kid one, and in this liver point. If I slide between my first and second toe, it'll just fall into resting point. And that's that liver three. So any frustration that I might be feeling, I like this combination. It kind of moves that frustration and then helps me with connect to Mother Earth.
Three and kidney one together.
I love the mid-ohm by itself as well because it activates nitric oxide. So it does so many things at a cellular level. It's 136.1 hertz. And then in combination, you've got an octave, works with beginnings and endings and every step in between. So if you look at these 2 points, you've got a wood energy and you have water energy. So you've got a kidney point on the bottom and you have a liver point on the top. Liver works with your eyes. When it's unbalanced, it can be frustration, anger, fear. But when it's balanced, it helps you keep your vision, keep yourself focused. And then on the bottom is that kidney point, works with emotions, but it also can work with fear. So when we can discharge excess energy into Mother Earth and keep our electromagnetic current flowing, we're in harmony with Mother Earth, and that's what today's all about. Not just harmony with ourselves, but harmony with the others. The tune-alongs, when I do tune-alongs, my intention is just to tune ourselves up. And when I teach classes, the intention is to be more educational in nature. So I apologize for going fast. I just go fast to get us moving the energy and flowing. But I love the feedback. And I'll be offering some classes coming up here soon that'll take us into more depth about the hows and whys. These are just little niblets. How's everybody doing? What's different from when you started?
I love everything you do, and you've been so generous. I'm just wondering, I mean, you've been offering these classes, and I know free of charge. Are you planning to offer a packet or per class price, or like how, or it's just because we are members of the Acutonic Cosmos? How will it work financially, monetarily?
Yeah. Well, so I'm building an online school called Frequency Matters. And so my online school will have I will be offering tune-alongs through the online school on a monthly basis, eventually offering memberships. I wanted to offer this to Acutonics, one, because I usually do tune-alongs with ohm and not with the planetary forks, because many people have bought tuning forks and they only have ohm, they don't have all the planets. So they're different, and then I've got another group of people that just have solfeggio forks. So my background is solfeggio and Acutonics, yeah. So looking at different people that have different forks, and then you've got the biofield folks, and they don't have the array of forks. So that was my main thing, is I really wanted to support people and empowering themselves by tuning themselves we want to do all this stuff for other people. And when I first took my class, I was all about what can I do for others? And I can't give what I don't have. I have to do it for myself first. So me giving to Acutonics and supporting Acutonics and using the forks on ourselves, I feel is so important during this time of change. But my online school will then it'll be a platform that's a paid for platform. And I sell some tuning forks. I don't want to be in the tuning fork sales business. That's not my thing. I'm the educator, I'm a teacher. So I've got the low earth star tuning forks. I have a bunch of them. And so I'm offering a buy one, get one free because again, I think it's really, really lovely. And they're MetaVibe. MetaVibe is a company that makes medical grade tuning forks and they have long stems. When I listen to them, and I listen to them with the Acutonics forks, they're very good, they're very identical. These will outlast you and I. So when I first started, I didn't have Acutonics forks, I had MetaVibe forks. And so I have a ton I want to share with people, so I'm doing a buy one, get one free. If you need two of the same fork, that's what else I have to offer as far as monetarily compensation. But for me, I see us in a time of great change, and we have tools that we have to get off the shelves and use, not just for others, but for ourselves first. So that's why I'm doing this.
So kind and generous of you to offer what you've been offering, and just agreeing with you is amazing. So definitely keep me posted when you do more cards and classes and workshops, and you are incredible.
Well, thank you. And I learn in community. I learn from you. I'm not isolated. I learn by doing this and sharing and talking, and I get information. And so I, I, I'm a teacher, and if I can't teach, I'm not being all of who I am. So, at the end of the day, we're all learners, we're all students, we're all learners. We're all teachers, we're all learners. And so we learn from each other. So the community matters to me. Debbie, what's different for you?
I feel just a little bit more grounded and centered, and yeah, just I feel a bit more like my energy is my own.
You two have been with me doing Acutonics. We've been using planetary forks. Today we use a lot of ohm. How is it different? Because we've done some of these same things with the planets. How is today different with just ohm?
I feel it's more grounding. It has I feel like it's much more just grounding than, and just than any other fork. I just feel it's like it just has a different quality to it. And I think that's kind of, if we can be grounded and rooted and connected to the earth, then, then we can be a bit more attuned to what's going on in the world, you know.
Thank you. That's really well said. Well, I wanted to give you that kind of contrasting experience because it's easy to overlook the power of ohm. It's the earth going around the sun, and it's like, well, it's our home tone. Well, yeah, that's why if I only have one fork to take with me, that would be the fork I take. Um, Again, the planetary forks are powerful, they're amazing. With the planetary forks, you need more in-depth instruction. Just to grab planetary forks and start using them is dangerous. It's dangerous. So I'm super proud to be able to work with Acutonics and be an Acutonics practitioner and have gone through hundreds of hours of training to be able to share Acutonics work because it really is that powerful. But if you don't have all that training and you just use ohm on these potent points, you're going to serve yourself and the world. That's my ohm commercial. Yeah. Shall we close? All right. As the final tones settle into silence, we honor the wisdom of what has moved, shifted, softened, and returned to balance. May the frequencies we activated today continue to work gently through the night, recalibrating the nervous system, clearing distortion, and restoring inner harmony. May the Venusian field of this Valentine weekend remind us that love is not something we choose, it is something we embody. It is something we become. May we leave this space more attuned to truth, more available to beauty, more willing to listen, and more capable of holding ourselves and each other with grace. May the energies of this weekend support integration, where emotion becomes insight, where tenderness becomes strength, and where devotion becomes aligned action. We send this resonance outward now to our families, our communities, the waters, the land, and the collective heart of humanity. May all beings remember their innate harmony. May all beings be supported. May all beings be restored into coherence. And it is with gratitude for this field that we've created together, we seal this tuning in love, in peace, and in presence, and so it is. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm going to post this on YouTube, and hopefully other people will tune along and will feel the powerful resonance from the field that we created collectively together today.